Hello and welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Matt here with Christy and Alonso. Today's movie is The Craft Legacy. Sadly, not about American Singles. That would be with a K. No, this is a reboot of sorts, a reimagining sequel of the cult hit The Craft. I didn't get a chance to see it, but they saw it, and so they'll tell you about it.
So yeah, is it a reboot? Is it a sequel? You find out really late in the game, so I'm not going to get into it.
It's a dessert topping.
Anyway, it is once again about a group of four high school friends who discover that together they got the power. They are they're witches. They're pagans. They are the four corners of the circle, or I don't know any of the terminology here, but basically you have Cailee Spaeny plays Lily, and she and her mother, who is Christy's very good friend Michelle Monaghan, who's a therapist. They move so that Michelle Monaghan can move in with David Duchovny, who plays another therapist who does a lot of sort of masculinity workshop-y kind of stuff. And meanwhile, Lily manages to fall in with sort of three kind of outsider girls at her high school who are played by Zoey Luna, Gideon, Adlon, and Lovie Simone. They discovered that as a foursome, they have powers. They test them out by turning the school's jock into a sensitive, heightened version of himself. And eventually discover they have much bigger fish to fry in terms of protecting themselves from the evils of masculinity gone wrong. I had fun with this. It's kind of dorky and it's not particularly scary, but it's written and directed by Zoe Lister-Jones, who did an indie called Band-Aid that I seem to recall we all liked a lot, right?
Band-Aid was cool. Band-Aid was her and Adam Pally, and they're working through their relationship struggles by singing about it.
Yes, they form a band with their weird neighbor Fred Armisen, who becomes their drummer.
Yeah.
So this is I think if you think of it more as a kind of cool high school movie than as a horror film, you'll probably have a better time. I kind of enjoyed the fun that the movie has with kind of with high school stereotypes, with kind of modern enlightenment. I'm not going to say wokeness because that's a stupid word, but I don't know. I found this movie really kind of clever and charming. Maybe just not what people who are big fans of The Craft are tuning into a movie called The Craft Legacy for. There's not a lot of big. There's a big climactic battle, but like beyond that, it's more kind of low key and character based. I don't know. What did you think, Lucy?
Is there a big fan base for The Craft?
Oh yeah, that was.
Really?
I mean, it was a pretty good sized hit when it came out, but it has a cult. I mean, I am friends with somebody who was in that movie, and I know that she's gotten she still gets a lot of feedback about it over the years. Like it's a thing.
That's interesting. So it's funny. I think every girl at some point when she's a tween or a teen thinks about how cool it would be to be a witch. Mm-hmm. Like even if you're just like a Samantha Stevens kind of witch, and you wiggle your nose, and you can just make get your homework done or whatever it is. Like I recall reading all kinds of like now they call them young adult novels, whatever, but of like girls in boarding school who are secretly witches, and like it just sounds really cool and strange. And this taps into the fun of that. And when the four of them are together, they have amazing chemistry. Gideon Adlon's hilarious. Lovie Simone, we never did Sella and the Spades, and I wish we had because it was so good. Lovie Simone just has charisma for days. And the four of them all balance one another out really nicely, and they all seem to be friends. Like the energy that they put out is so authentic as far as their outsiderness, but also their insularity with each other. Like that makes total sense to me. And I really liked Cailee Spaeny, and she has a sort of a fresh kind of pixiness about her, an Ellen Page-ishness about her. Very accessible and very low key. I like that about her.
I called it baby butch realness in my review.
So when it's the four of them playing off each other, and just goofing on people and making the most of a shitty situation in high school, that is the most fun. And maybe the little tiny zaps of witchcraft here and there are good for a laugh and good for some kind of wish fulfillment. But as you mentioned, there's a big climactic battle. Like that got really silly for me. Like that got kind of lame and and the effects aren't very good. And what's actually happening underneath all of this movie is kind of like, really?
I at least liked the fact that I think the first movie, it's been a while since I've seen it, but my recollection is that like they kind of turn on each other, and then it's all sort of about kind of punishing them for misusing their powers. So I like the idea that Zoey Lister-Jones is like, what if they don't treat each other like shit, and what if we don't make, like try and judge them for the fact that they've developed these skills or whatever. So like, you could argue whether or not she found anything to do with that idea, but I thought at least the fact that that idea was out there was kind of an interesting one. I did also like Nicholas Galitzine as the jock turned, sensitive dude. I thought he was funny, and I liked his stuff. And I thought it was very cool. Zoe Luna is a trans actress playing a trans character. So if you are looking for a magic-based franchise in which trans women are women, this is the one.
And they acknowledge that in a smart and relevant way.
Yes.
As far as their discussions about what their power means as women, like the way that they introduce that that's who she is not heavy-handed. It makes total sense, and I thought they handled it very gracefully. Yeah,
it's organic. It's part of the conversation, and obviously, the idea of womanhood is tied into witchcraft in the culture, and so it was a relevant discussion to have. And the fact that they can be inclusive of her that way and treat her as a member of that group and having the same capabilities as people in that group, I thought was it's a real step forward. So yeah, this is kind of it's a bit of a lark, but I liked it in the way that I like watching Degrassi,
I think it was shot in the same places as Degrassi too. It seems like it's very Canada,
very Pacific Northwest for sure. Yeah, big trees.
I'm saying 6.8.
I said 7. So it went straight to streaming. So if you want to stay home and watch something Halloweeny, this is your option here.
Yeah, 6.9 is our number.
Yeah. Nice. Anyway, sorry. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We are recapping Mandalorian. We're recapping Seduced, the second of the NXIVM documentaries. And because our viewers demanded it, we'll be reviewing the Japanese horror masterpiece House. But that's subscriber only stuff. So head over there and sign up if you want to take a look at it. Patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.